Welcome to CounterCultureWISE, a Stormcat production, with your hosts, Melanie Hope and James Monis. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on CounterCultureWISE.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're watching our live show, hit like and join the chat. If you're listening dead, well, you can still hit like, share, subscribe, and comment, but please stop voting Democrat. And welcome to another CounterCultureWISE podcast.
Yeah.
It's been a doozy of a week, folks. We have so much to talk about. I am your hostess with the mostest, Ms. Melanie Hope, and here in studio with me is our sweet little kitten, Frankie, who is sound asleep under the desk, and the doggy Woggy, who's holding post at the door. Max is floating around here somewhere. Fritzy's probably face down into the food, and, of course, sitting across from me on the other mic is, well, he happens to be my husband. He's my best friend. He's my co-host. He is my sweet baboo, Mr. James Monis.
Hi, everybody. It's really good to be here. We've got a fun show tonight. I hope you enjoy. Did you hear about the Buddhist who refused Novocaine during his root canal?
No.
He wanted to transcend dental medication. I have a feeling if this keeps up, I won't be here all week.
No. Wah, 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 wah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have so much to talk to you about today. First, let's celebrate a birthday of one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, 88.
88 years old. Ruth Buzzy, best known for her performances on Laugh-In, turned 88. A little bit of trivia about Ruth Buzzy.
Okay.
She, Gary Owens, and Dick and Dan were the only cast members who were on all 6 seasons of the show.
Really?
Yeah. And she was best known for playing Gladys, the old lady with the hairnet and the killer purse.
Yeah, and the killer purse, yeah.
She played that
She's such a joy. She's
and
so
she
fun.
still looks great. She's still got a beautiful smile, and she still posts on
She's had a wonderful
social
smile.
media.
I'm showing pictures of her now. There she is in her regalia. Yeah, what a fun show. I really loved that we watched it from the very first one up until, well, pretty much all of our favorite cast members disappeared.
Yeah, with the first 5 seasons and part of the 6th, when the wheels started to come off. I might go back and watch the rest of them just to be able to say I watched them all.
Yeah.
But the first 5 seasons, especially the second and third, were just classic. Absolutely great show. I remember watching it when I was a kid with my mom and dad and seeing Goldie Hawn dance around wearing almost nothing but body paint, and that tainted me for life.
A lot of us. How does she look so good?
That's don't know.
Fair.
Yeah, she still looks younger than Gladys.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she still looks really, really good. I'm amazed. I guess part of it is because she's joyful. I think joyful people tend to age better.
Then how do you explain me? Anyway.
Well, you're not a joyful person. Joyful. Okay. Well, happy birthday, Ruth Buzzy. You've given us much joy throughout the years.
Absolutely.
Well, apparently one of our favorite restaurants has been dethroned.
Dethroned? Did he pull out all the toilets? Is that?
Yeah.
What?
That's funny.
Well, I would hope occasionally some things I
That's
say
actually
land.
pretty funny.
No,
That's
no.
not bad.
All right. No. So, Chick-fil-A has been dethroned as America's best fast food restaurant, according to USA Today. This isn't based on sales, it's based on a popularity contest, Best Reader's Choice Awards from USA Today. The Atlanta-based fast food restaurant was crowned number one on the publication's 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards for 9 consecutive years. However, this year, the restaurant dropped all the way down to number 3.
Ruh-roh.
Chick-fil-A is a favorite of many, including their friendly cow mascots who want you to eat more chicken. The restaurant offers a variety of chicken-centric dishes, including nuggets and salads, but their classic chicken sandwich has been the most ordered menu item at Chick-fil-A for at least 2 years running. I love their chicken.
It's good, but they don't put anything on it. I like onions and pickles and mayonnaise, and it's just dried chicken and bread. Have a nice day. And when you ask for all that stuff, they're like, we don't have any of that.
We don't do that.
Well, no, they're not
Inside
our
joke.
landlords, but
Inside joke. Way stupid inside joke.
well, yeah.
But it got bumped off with a surprising twist. Mexican chain Del Taco, which I always loved,
I do love Del Taco.
was
We
voted
don't
the
have
best
one around
fast
here.
food. They moved out of Texas a long time ago. They were only in
Well, here's
Texas
the full
for a few
list.
years.
Number 10, Arby's. Why they don't show a picture of Arby's, I do not know. Number 9, Zaxby's. I have never heard of them.
We've eaten there.
We have?
Yeah. What? It was across the street from the hospital I stayed at, the fried chicken place.
Oh, that was the name of it?
That was Zaxby's, yeah.
Oh,
So
you
we
think
have
I
eaten
would have
there.
remembered a word with a Z and an X in it. Yeah. Okay, they were meh.
They're okay.
I mean, I think I remember eating there, and it was so
It was
forgettable
good.
that I didn't even remember the
It
name of
was
the
good.
joint.
It was
meh,
good.
meh. Popeyes, they do have good chicken.
I just don't like getting killed over it. It's not
Nobody's
that important.
gotten killed. Well, not in our area. Okay, number
Taco
7,
Bell.
Taco Bell.
And that's my favorite.
How is that even on the list?
See,
Ugh.
we're different. We're not the same people, you and I.
Well, okay, Taco Bell used to be the place you went to at 3:00 in the morning, you know, either hungover or stoned, and you paid like $5 and got 20 tacos.
Right.
Now it's you pay $20 and get 1 taco, and it's made out of dog vomit, and you don't even know what's actually in the taco.
I still consider it one of my favorites.
Or the Crunchwrap Supreme, which was my favorite of all time, and now it's just wrap. There's literally nothing in it anymore. There's no ingredients. It's just wrap.
Orgy dorgy.
And you don't even get green onions on your nachos anymore. Okay, Captain D's. Never heard of them.
Yeah, me neither. I think
It looks yummy. It looks like Skippers. Why don't we have one of these? Look, they have fried okra. Yum.
churches used to have fried
I
okra.
want to go to Captain D's.
Okay, we'll find
I don't
one.
care. You know, they're really big on the hush puppies here, and I do not like hush puppies. Hardee's. I've heard of them, never seen one.
Well, Hardee's used to be its own thing in the South. They were really big. Their biscuits were really yummy
Not
for
into
breakfast.
biscuits.
But
I'm
they've they merged with Carl's Jr. So essentially, if you've eaten at Carl's Jr., you've eaten at Hardee's.
Oh, and Carl's Jr.'s meh. In-N-Out Burger, it should be in the top 2, in the top 1 maybe. Love me some In-N-Out.
Their
Their
burgers
fries
are-
are bleh,
The burgers are outstanding. We had one the other day to celebrate a few things, but yeah.
Yeah. And they do have really good burgers, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to get animal style next time. I forgot to order. Chick-fil-A number 3, bumped on down.
Yummy. Their macaroni and cheese is good.
Number 2 is KFC.
Yeah.
KFC is backslid.
Backslid to number 2, baby.
No, they changed their recipe for extra crispy, which is always my favorite, and now it's just on the off chance you can actually get it. In fact, I had a craving for KFC extra crispy. I'd say it was about 2 weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
and I pull in, and I swear to you, I am not making this up. They literally said, "We are out of chicken."
So I guess you're going to change the name to Kentucky Fried Milk?
It's like, what do I order at
Kentucky
this point?
Fried Broccoli?
Yeah, actually, that would be yummy.
That would be.
Yeah, we're out of chicken. I'm like, Cletus, you had one job. We're out of chicken.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I pulled in and they didn't have extra crispy, I would get original recipe anyway. But I mean, or if they run out of original recipe, I'd get the extra crispy or whatever, or even the grilled, but no chicken at all.
No chicken at all. Yeah, couldn't order chicken. It was the weirdest thing. So I was like, okay, thanks. And number one, Del Taco. Now, Del Taco, I do love me some Del Taco.
I do too. I wish they had them here in Texas again.
They have relatively decent chips and queso, not as good as what was it? Not I'm gonna say
Baja Fresh.
Thank you. I knew it started with a B. I got the B this time. At least I'm not. Oh, it starts with a Q, and it's
And it's Applebee's, right?
And it's, yes. I'm like, remember that guy we saw? And you're like, no, yeah, the guy. He's tall with a beard. His name starts with a J. And you're like, Frank? yeah, Frank. Yeah, it's okay. Well, Del Taco, you deserve your place.
K is next to J.
KFC, you do not deserve your place. Chick-fil-A, sorry, dude. In-N-Out Burger needs to be. I would swap out KFC with In-N-Out Burger, and then the list would. I do really want to try this Captain D's joint, though. That looks yummy. Quick quality seafood meal. I guess fried catfish or whitefish, grilled salmon. They need a Tajin on here. Okay. So Chick-fil-A is.
They actually do have them in Texas, just not in this area.
Yeah, we have nothing in this area. We're in the middle of no dang
Well,
where.
it shows to live out here.
We really are in the middle of no dang where. Speaking of being in the middle of like the wrong thing at the wrong time, how weird is this?
What?
Never thought I would agree with a modern terrorist organization.
Yeah, this is really something
But they're
else.
right. The Democrat Party is a party of hypocrites, and they have gone against their own voters. And, BLM doesn't get much right, but they're getting this right. So Black Lives Matter is demanding the Democratic National Committee host a virtual snap primary before its convention in August. It's not going to. As the group called out the undemocratic process that led to Vice President Kamala Harris becoming the presumptive Democratic nominee for president. Well, they painted themselves into a corner.
Yes.
They've got their first Indian princess who can pretend to be black. She's not. And, once you've got your ovaries and your racism in there, she checks all the bigot boxes. You can't remove her, no matter how ridiculous, no matter how moronic, no matter how bad her policies are. Nobody talks about her policies because I don't think even she knows what they are.
She doesn't have a policy. We don't even know what they are.
Her policy is vagina, slightly darker pigment. I mean, I'm not much lighter than she is, and I'm a freaking ginger. I burn
You're
thinking
a cracker.
about.
You're an
I
absolute
burn
honky
thinking
cracker,
about looking at the sun, and she is not much darker than me. And this whole, on if it suits her, she's Indian, and but she's black. She's not black.
So
and then she'll put on like this air. She'll do these accents that are really insulting, and then being told that because I am a woman, I have to vote for her just because she's a woman. That's insulting. And these people eat it up. They act like that's a good thing. I don't understand how any self-respecting individual could look at this cackling idiot who slept her way into office, has literally never done anything, not a single thing. And the one thing she was supposed to do, they're now denying that she was even in charge of that. She did so poorly on that they can say, no, she was never in charge of that. And they're all like, well, I mean, maybe she wasn't because she literally did absolutely nothing. And they're gaslighting us. You can look at the same news outlet calling her the border czar, and then now they're saying, oh, that was never a thing.
Right.
And people are so dumb. They're like, okay. And it's like history is just not a thing, and reality is not a thing, and we're supposed to just back this person for no reason. She hasn't talked about her policy. She hasn't talked about her successes, and now she's falling back on the whole, oh, I was a prosecutor and the other guy's a criminal. I'm like, you kind of don't know your audience, do you?
Not much at all.
Yeah.
So what did they say? I mean, Black Lives Matter.
Apparently, they released a statement on Tuesday, and they go on about how they were formed, blah blah blah, St. Floyd, blah blah. Democratic Party elites and billionaire donors are attempting to manipulate black voters, capital B, by anointing Kamala Harris and an unknown vice president who we all know is going to be a very beta white male. I know she's going to have a beta white male, like a Booty Juice or something. As the dude, actually, I think Booty Judge would be able to stand up to her. As the new Democratic ticket without a primary vote of the public. Black Lives Matter wrote Tuesday in a statement, this blatant disregard for democratic principles is unacceptable. The Democratic Party, which has been the loudest in defending democracy, is now poised to commit some of the most undemocratic maneuvering to avoid listening to the will of the voters, which is what we're saying. Yeah. We're saying the same thing. You voted for Joe. You wanted Joe. Why aren't you running Joe? Throughout its statement, Black Lives Matter references the unprecedented political landscape in the United States after Joe Biden withdrew. While Joe Biden wasn't our preferred candidate, I wonder who was, we cannot ignore the troubling actions of the Democratic Party, the group said. The DNC changed the primary schedule and created rules that made it almost impossible for non-Biden candidate to appear on the ballot. After one poor debate performance, that's so cute. The DNC party elites and billionaire donors bullied Joe Biden out of the race. Yeah, that's what they did. Mm-hmm. I'm still wondering if the dude's even alive. While Black Lives Matter claimed this is not an attack on Kamala Harris or black women, the group said it's about the nominating process and a transparent and fair virtual snap primary to allow for a democratic selection of a nominee. Sorry, guys, you're not going to get what you want. They're going to get what they want. The whole Obama fake phone call thing, just so cringy, has him on speakerphone, but still holds the phone to her ear, and it's like super scripted, like an after-school special. I mean, so cringy. It's like, how could people look at that and think that's real? And why do they think it's appropriate to do these hyper-scripted, overproduced, commercial things and pretend, when she's meeting people, the drag queen guy that comes to the White House, she's like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. And, they walk around. It's insulting. And that's the thing. I've decided that our Twitter account, you and I have talked about this. Mm-hmm. Probably going to go back and purge it. And we are no longer going to be insulting. There's no need to.
Right.
I think I'm just going to keep repeating the phrase, they hate you and they think you are stupid. And that's not my judgment. That's their judgment. The Democrats hate their own voters and they think they are stupid. And the sad thing is there's so many of them stepping up and saying, yeah, I am stupid. And if you hate me, that's okay. Give me more. It's like, that's pretty much what we're looking at. It's crazy. All right. Historically, black people have been boiled.
I
skipped one.
Really important.
Okay. We do not live in a dictatorship. Delegates are not oligarchs. Any attempt to evade or override the will of the voters in our primary system, no matter how historic the candidate, must be condemned. I'm so sick of, it's historic just because she has a cooch and has darker skin. That's so stupid. You know what would be a historic candidate is somebody who, is capable of doing the job.
That'd be historic for sure.
Yeah, nowadays. Okay, historically, black people have been loyal Democratic voters, but that also is a joke.
Keep going.
But time and again, the party has taken our votes for granted and prioritized political theatrics over our real needs. We demand an informal virtual snap primary now that the incumbent president is no longer in the running. We call for the Rules Committee to create a process that allows for public participation in the nomination process, not just a nomination by party delegates, the group demanded. Do you think they'll...
They were useful. They're not anymore, so no, they won't do it.
I mean, didn't Kamala put up money to bail people out who were burning down their own cities? in the name of Saint
I have
Floyd.
no idea.
Yeah, she did. She
Yeah.
tweeted it out. It's common knowledge.
Anyway.
Well, broken clock is right twice a day. So I guess Black
No,
Lives Matter
it's
can
fine.
be right twice a
They're
decade.
absolutely right. They're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Now we have the rantable question of the week featuring Melanie A. Hope.
It's a mini ginger snaps. It's mini ginger
I
snaps.
remember this from when I was a kid. I was a Sesame Street addict when I was a child.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm gonna play the video, but I'm not gonna play the song. Obviously, I can't play it because we'll get DMCA'd. But I want to talk about the lowercase n song because this song traumatized me as a child.
I'm not going to ridicule you. I was traumatized by the NPC Peacock. What do I know?
And the NPC.
I say NPC? I did, didn't
But
I?
the song,
NBC,
I mean, and the
National
music-
Broadcasting Company.
The music is really good. The singer who wrote it, but in a cold and far off place there is lowercase n. Lonely and cold, she would stare off into space, and it was known that she would cry now and then. I'm like, "Ah, the poor little N. I felt so sorry for the N. And then it's so sad, and it still haunts me. Lowercase n, standing on a hill. The wind is very still
for the lowercase n.
Okay, so I mean, it does end with a rocket ship coming, and it lands and it opens a door, and now the lowercase n. She's not lonely anymore.
Another n gets dumped next door.
Yeah. Okay. So there's issues I have with this. First of all, just dropping off some random, different colored letter from space, and they just fall in love. I never liked the end, even as a little kid. I'm like, okay, well, thank God she's not lonely anymore. And when he belts it out, she's not lonely anymore. You're like, yay! And then you're like, wait a minute. What if they fight? What if they don't like each other? And why is the wind still very still? And it still sounds sad. The wind is very still for the lowercase n. So it's like,
And she wonders why she only gets 3 hours of sleep a night.
I literally stay awake wondering about stuff like this. Anyways, it turns out that I was not the only one traumatized by this, and there are several parodies of this all over YouTube, and have been for years. So I feel vindicated that even though as a child, this all came up because I was tutoring algebra with one of my students, and it had used the variable of a lowercase n, and you can't say that. You cannot say lowercase n without singing it. You just can't. I mean, that has ruined you forever. And are there any other letters that so profoundly affected you as a child? I mean, can you think of any other letters that there's a song, I can't. I mean, there's the counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That one gets you. Yeah, I can't think of any other letters that they showcased. Because, I mean, they always had like a letter of the day, and there were different things that revolved around it, and Grover would get involved. Grover is the superior Muppet. Elmo can go suck a duck. And, you always, this was brought to you by the letter whatever and the number whatever. But the lowercase n song, that is the only one that still haunts me to this day.
I remember the story of Wanda the Witch, brought to you by the letter W.
Okay.
I also remember M, old red-haired girl.
You would think that with my name being an M and also being a ginger that I would remember that. I do not.
Well, there was also a song by Tom Lehrer on the Electric Company show called Silent E.
Okay. That's the same guy who did lowercase n?
No, different person. Tom Lehrer is a comedian.
The guy with the piano?
Poisoning pigeons in the park.
Yeah. Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he was funny.
Okay, I'll have to look that up for the Silent E.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm always teaching my kids the magic E and how it changes the sound, and
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, he's funny.
I think your kids get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I play. Is it Victor Borgia who does the punctuation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ding. Yeah, he was brilliant
I
too.
play that every now and then, and yeah. So I had to play because this kid was a younger kid and he has never seen it because this is vintage Sesame Street. So I had to play this song, so he understood why the entire time we were doing, n squared plus 25 n minus 12 and trying to graph our parabola. I'm like, lowercase n, she's not lonely anymore. Yeah, so if your tutor breaks down over a lowercase n, now you know why.
And that, my friends, was the rantable question of
The
the
wind
week.
is very still for the
Lowercase
lowercase n.
n.
Really well written song, given what it's written about. Let's head on into news of the weird and wonderful. We have some wonderful stories to share with you.
Absolutely.
As the name
Great
implies.
stuff.
CounterCultureWISE is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
Things. Okay, this one's really fun. So, this couple got married, obviously, and got this once in a lifetime photo of a funnel. Now, apparently, we're not allowed to call it a tornado because it didn't actually touch the ground.
Oh.
So even though it's really scary and destroying crap and obviously looks like it's ready to take over the city, since it technically didn't touch the actual ground, they didn't get a picture with a tornado. They got a picture with a funnel, but it's still a pretty great picture. So
That's great.
Yeah, and there's video, so I will post the video, the link for this. But yeah, check it out. Imagine getting married, and hey guys,
Let's
might
get
be
a
a
picture
tornado.
taken in front of the funnel.
Yeah. You know what would be fun is for us to get the funnel and that I use for my spices, the little, and recreate the same picture with the funnel above us. Say, we're not allowed to call it a tornado because it's only a funnel. I don't think that would rival the pictures that we took for our wedding presents with the knives and the frying pan and the
those were a lot of
sriracha.
fun.
Yeah,
we'll
we had
show
a lot
some
of
of
fun.
those. We'll post some of those on our.
We have some of them on our opening credits, I believe. Or we
That's
used to.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. So.
All right, your turn.
All right, this is from my old stomping grounds of the Atlanta area. Cobb County emergency crews successfully retrieved a man who fell 50 feet down a well while looking for his cell phone late Thursday night.
Yike. He's lucky he didn't break anything, including his cell phone.
The rescue operation happened in the woods on Hartman Road near Factory Shoals Road in Austell. Lieutenant Steve Bennett of Cobb County Fire and Emergency Services said the rescue operation began around 10 p.m. Thursday when the man's son called police saying that his dad was missing. The son said his father had lost his phone earlier in that day in the same woods, went back to search for it, and never came home. Officers found the man's vehicle at the scene and heard his phone in the woods. While searching, one officer heard the man screaming and found him at the bottom of the 50-foot deep well.
He just randomly lost his phone
And derped into a well, yes.
How do you just... Seriously, I mean, there's no other term for it. Derp-de-derp. Oh, golly, I lost my phone. Where did my phone... Ah! 50 feet, that's significant. And why is there a well in the middle of the woods? I have so many questions.
Some of these stories bring up more questions than answers. A firefighter was lowered down into the well and was able to secure the man and help crews get him out safely. Fox 5 cameras saw the moment. Cobb County police officers and firefighters were able to take the man out of the woods on a stretcher. While the extent of the man's injuries is unknown, Bennett said the man was alert and expected to survive the ordeal. At night, in the darkness, if you don't have a good flashlight, it's very easy to accidentally find a hole, fall down a slope. The woods are not kind if you don't have a flashlight. Bennett said.
He probably was depending on the flashlight and a cell phone.
Good point.
Can you imagine how dark it would be 50 foot down? And then it's also dark outside.
He's lucky to be alive.
He was in pitch black.
He's lucky to be
I
alive.
still want to know why there's a well in the middle of the woods.
Well, I have no idea.
So weird. Why is there a
Well,
well?
this is definitely more weird than wonderful. It's amusing.
All right. Well, you know how we love our world records, and here is a new world record. A Nigerian man shook his backside for 3 hours and 30 minutes to break the Guinness World Record for the longest duration twerking. Only 3 hours? You would think it'd be longer.
Yeah.
3 hours just doesn't
I
seem
think
like that long of a
twerking for
time.
15 minutes would wear me out.
Yeah, it's not easy. I'm not going to pronounce this man's name.
Babajide Israel
I'm just-
Adebanho.
I'm just going to call him Bia, who took on the challenge to raise awareness about depression and the importance of mental health, received word from Guinness World Records that his January dancing marathon had officially earned him the title. We are beyond thrilled to announce that our record-breaking achievement has been officially recognized by Guinness World Records. Habanero wrote on his TikTok account where he posted a video showing the acceptance email from the record-keeping organization. Do you get a plaque or something?
Yeah,
Cool.
you get an award.
The post thanked everyone who supported Habanero as he took on the challenge. We're incredibly proud to have set a new standard in twerking.
You have to
This
set
actually came out of somebody's face.
Twerking
We're incredibly
standard.
proud to have set a new standard in twerking. And we couldn't have done it without your energy, enthusiasm, and support. We set a new standard
in twerking.
in twerking. Well, congratulations, dude.
Don't we have doesn't CounterCultureWISE Labs have a cereal called Twerkies, or
We
did
do. We do have Twerky cereal.
I thought so. Orgy dorgy.
I shall
Yeah.
play that ad in that spot.
Yes, you shall. Okay, let's continue. I'm ready to.
Okay, now this one has a caveat. So go ahead and read it as it is.
A U.S. Navy fighter pilot has become the first American woman to score a victory in air-to-air combat. The female pilot, who was not named in the Navy release, was flying an FA-18 Super Hornet off the aircraft carrier USS Dwight D. Eisenhower as part of Strike Fighter Squadron 32, nicknamed the Flying Swordsman. The aerial victory came against a one-way Houthi attack drone, one of dozens the Yemen-based group is deployed against civilian merchant ships in the Red Sea and nearby waters in reaction to the destruction in Gaza during Israel's war against Hamas, a release from Carrier Strike Group 2 said. The squadron amassed more than 3,000 combat hours in flying almost 1,500 combat missions as part of operations Inherent Resolve and Prosperity Guardian, the former targeting ISIS and the latter stood up in December 2023 to respond to the Houthi-led attacks on international shipping. The Swordsman, one of 4 strike fighter squadrons that deployed on the Eisenhower, fired more than 20 air-to-air missiles against the Houthi drones during those missions, the Navy said. During one mission, VFA-32 became home to the first American female pilot to engage and kill an air-to-air contact,
Okay,
it said.
but is it really a kill if it's a drone? Does that count?
Because drones can often carry weapons, and so yes.
But you're not killing anything. You're just like shooting down a drone.
It's still considered a kill.
All right.
The first air-to-air victory by a female pilot comes 30 years after Lieutenant Cara Holtgreen became the first carrier-based female fighter pilot in the Navy, flying the F-14 Tomcat off the USS Abraham Lincoln that year. Female aviators also joined the Eisenhower in 1994, and there's a photo of Cara Holtgreen. I don't know what rank she was there. Lieutenant, yeah, Lieutenant Holtgreen. The Eisenhower-led Carrier Strike Group returned to the U.S. bases on July 14 after a 9-month deployment, an exceptionally lengthy deployment for Carrier. Yeah, that's true. Normal deployments last about 6 to 8 months. Commander Jason Hawk, commanding officer of VFA-32, praised the squadron's performance in incredibly demanding conditions during the deployment. Besides the air-to-air encounters, the Swordsman led 2 of 7 strikes against Houthi ground targets in Yemen, destroying munitions and command and control facilities, the release said. We proved over and over again that the flexibility a Carrier Strike Group brings to the fight is unmatched.
It goes on quite a ways.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
So what's your question?
Well, that was my question. If I mean, you're firing at a drone, so basically it's a robot. I don't know. It just seems. They made it sound like she was in a dog fight, like from Top Gun and everything, when really it was just, look, a remote controlled airplane, bang bang. I call it a kill.
You're downplaying it way too much.
Am I downplaying it too much?
A bit.
Alrighty, well, sorry.
No, I'm not offended. I'm not the one shooting. I'm not the one killing drones. I don't know.
Well, yeah. See, that was my question. If it's a drone, is it
Like
really
I
killed?
said, it's considered a kill. Now, whether it's a kill like, blowing up a bunch of ISIS people, probably not. But, it is what it is.
All right, this next one's fun, and I actually have the video for it. It's
Yay.
adorable. And as you can see, he has quite the talent. Our little Houdini. He's full of energy, always curious, always playing. And what no one knew at the time was Firecracker had a hidden talent. Look how little he is. He's as little
Teeny
as our
weeny.
little Frankie was when we brought him home. One day, staffers from the shelter's feline division entered their kennel room to find all their cats safe and secure except one. Inexplicably, Firecracker was out and about, roaming around the room. He was placed back in his kennel, but he didn't stay there for long. On at least 4 separate occasions over the week, staff members arrived to find Firecracker out and free. They started talking, Richter said. They realized they'd each found him like that. After the first time Firecracker was placed back in his kennel, they decided to film what would happen, after the last time. They decided to film what would happen next. Turns out Firecracker had figured out how to lift and slide the kennel's locking mechanism, a Houdini-like ability that left his caretakers stunned. He's our first cat to have ever done that. He's brilliant, Richter said. Everyone was just so surprised and laughing knowing he's such a smart kitten. Staff at the shelter were so impressed they decided to share the video online, and not long after, Firecracker pulled off his greatest escape yet. He was adopted the next morning by someone who saw the video. His creativity got him adopted very quickly, and that's definitely what did it. I would.
Yeah, I would be like, that's a smart cat. We like smart cats, which is why we like our cats.
And we got pretty lucky.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Firecracker. I'm so happy you found your forever home.
Yay.
Oh, you're going to love this story. This is really sweet.
A Nebraska woman has marked major milestones in her children's and grandchildren's lives with handmade quilts. Lois Zegers said her quilting tradition is now extending to her great-grandchildren. For the past 6 months, Zegers has devoted her time to producing 33 quilts, one for each of her great-grandchildren. Boy, that is one productive family.
Yes.
Or reproductive.
Yeah.
She credits the craft with helping her cope with the passing of one of her 97 children. I'm kidding. My second youngest passed away in October, and I think this saved me, Zegers said. Zegers said one of her great-granddaughters, noticing her grief, gave her a new purpose. She came and watched me sew and said, "Am I ever going to get one?" she said. And how could she say no? Since then, Zegers has been diligently working on the quilts, planning to distribute them at an upcoming family reunion in Petersburg. "I love my family so much, and I didn't want them not to have it," Zegers said. While Zegers has taken on most of the project herself, she also relies on support from her faith community at St. John the Baptist Catholic Church. Every Tuesday, she quilts with a group of ladies at Werner Hall across the street.
We used to call those Stitch and Bitch. We had a lot of fun.
Oh, dear. We all have this passion for quilting, and if any of us can help one another, that's what we do, Lynette Sear, a Petersburg area quilter, said. When Zegers' hands are full, friends help assemble the pieces she has laid out. The cabin pattern is one of her favorites. To make it fun and fair for her great-grandchildren, Zegers labeled each quilt and conducted a drawing, allowing a bit of supervised trading. "Unbelievable. She's made so many of them," Larry Zegers, Lois Zegers' son, said. Lois added, "I know they'll remember me because I love them and they love me, but this is something they can look at and say, 'My great-grandma made this.' And that is bragging rights."
I'll tell you, my grandmother made me a quilt when I was a little girl, and I used that thing until it was see-through.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally had to let it go, that hurt. His grandma's been gone a long time, but those quilts mean the world to those people, and they will have those until they literally fall apart. I hope they use them and don't just like lock them in a closet or, maybe hanging on the wall. But I would hope they would use them.
Absolutely.
We have a lovely old-fashioned quilt on our bed right now that's pretty threadbare.
Yeah.
I just love
But
it
it's
so much.
nice. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Frankie likes it.
Frankie loves it, but Frankie likes everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Frankie's pretty easygoing. Okay, this one intrigued me because I did not know what it was about, and you just kind of sprung it on me with this headline, and I'm like, what? So it'll be interesting to read this one, but he couldn't. This is actually a really good headline because it
draws you in. You want to find
He
out what
couldn't
happened.
drink a glass of water for 35 years. In a remarkable medical breakthrough, a man who struggled with the simple task of drinking a glass of water is now able to do so thanks to a life-changing incisionless surgery. Gold Coast University Hospital has become the first Australian public hospital to offer this innovative procedure for individuals with disabling neurological conditions such as essential tremors, which is kind of near and dear to our heart here at CounterCultureWISE Studios. The non-invasive procedure utilizes MRI technology to precisely locate and treat areas of the brain that trigger movement disorder symptoms. More than 1,000 ultrasound beams intersect at a single point, creating a tiny lesion in the brain. That sounds a little terrifying. This disruption of abnormal brain activity significantly reduces tremors, offering patients newfound control over their movements.
If I had that much trouble with tremors, I'd be willing to take the risk.
I wonder if it's permanent. It doesn't say. Neville Waterstrom. What a great Australian name. Hey, my name's Neville Waterstrom. A patient who has suffered from essential tremors for the past 30 years shared his transformative experience. And there he is, drinking his water. It's been incredibly difficult to do even simple tasks like feed myself, and drinking out of a glass was just not a possibility, he said. This procedure has completely changed my life. I haven't been able to write poetry for the last 20 years, and now it's just amazing. I can drink a glass of water again. And this is just 1 hour after the procedure. And there is video, but we didn't download it. The success of this incisionless surgery has garnered widespread attention, with the hospital sharing a video showcasing Neville's progress before and after the procedure. The video has since been viewed by millions, inspiring hope and showcasing the incredible potential of modern medical advancements. Oh, wow, the difference is significant.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, he could barely function.
That
Look at
very
that. I mean,
first
how would you
moment
drive? How
when
would you do anything?
I came out of the MRI
Wow.
and they put a glass of water in front of me. And for 35 years,
Look at him,
I've
he's
never ever
crying.
been able
Wow.
to drink that glass of water. To drink it,
What a
not shake.
difference.
was
And that was just
amazing.
hours after surgery.
The changes
Look at
it's
that.
made
That
in my
changed
life
his
since then
life.
are numerous.
That is incredible.
Thanks that I feel, the appreciation, thanks that I feel
Yeah, that's a
the
medical
doctors, the
miracle.
hospital,
All right,
the
well,
government for funding something.
I hope a lot of people are
changed my
affected by
life.
that. I mean, the things that we're doing in
My
medicine
appreciation
is
is endless.
amazing.
The
Just
Gold Coast
absolutely
University Hospital is
amazing.
the first public hospital in
All
the
right,
country
folks.
to be
That
able
was
to
news
offer this
of the weird and
groundbreaking
wonderful, and
surgery,
coming up next,
which really helps
you know
those
the drill.
patients with
Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things.
Some people will go to amazing lengths to get publicity on YouTube these days.
Don't think this is a good idea, though.
This is a horrible way to go about it. A Nebraska teenager has been charged with 2 felony counts of criminal mischief.
Criminal mischief.
You know, usually I laugh at it, but this was just stupid
Well, luckily it was
and
a freight
deadly,
train,
potentially
and,
deadly.
Yeah, not a commuter train, because he could have killed.
After he was accused of causing a train to derail, recording the crash, and posting the video on YouTube, according to court records. The 17-year-old was charged in Lancaster County Juvenile Court on Wednesday, but prosecutors have filed a motion to have the case transferred to adult court.
Which means he'd get stronger sentencing.
Yeah. An investigator with BNSF Railway said in court documents that the teenager alerted authorities to the derailment and asked the investigator who arrived what caused the crash. Oh boy. He is
I'm
accused of...
totally innocent. I was just standing
I was
here
there to actually
to
record
it.
and who knew that there would be a derailment at the very moment I'm recording the
it was
video.
amazing. What an opportunity.
It's absolutely weird.
It's not it's like that picture they took of Trump with the flag. I mean, totally.
He is accused of tampering with a rail and causing 2 locomotives and 5 loaded BNSF cars to jump the rails in Bennett on April 21st. Bennett is in Nebraska, right? Okay. It wasn't clear whether the teen had retained an attorney, and his parents couldn't be reached for comment Thursday because they were in hiding because they were ashamed of his dumb butt. While the rail cars remained upright, one crashed into an empty coal car, causing $350,000 in damage, an investigator for the rail company said in court records. In the moments leading up to the crash, the conductor tried to make an emergency stop but ran out of time before the collision, court records show.
You can't stop a moving locomotive, even if it's going relatively slow. Those things take forever.
Yeah. And I'm willing to bet they weren't going the slowest. The train conductor told a BNSF investigator that a misaligned switch led to the crash and that a padlock that was supposed to be attached to the switch was missing,
Oh, really?
the document said.
Maybe it was located on a slanted roof.
Yeah. BNSF Railway. Oh, they're not going to live that down for a while
Never.
either. BNSF Railway operates trains on the rail to supply coal to a power plant in Nebraska City. The teenager who reported the derailment to authorities approached an investigator after the crash and asked what caused it. When the investigator said it was undetermined, he responded that obviously a switch was flipped the wrong way, according to court records.
Oh, what a moron. Oh, no. I'm not in here. Don't look in the oven.
He told the investigator he was a train enthusiast and showed him of the video he had shot of the derailment because he's a moron, the record said. Lancaster County Attorney Patrick F. Condon declined to comment. The teen denied trespassing in the area and tampering with the switch, but the investigator pointed out in the documents he knew where the switch was and how it worked. Authorities later discovered that a tripod had been set up near the accident site just 4 minutes before the train derailed, court records show. Because everything is on camera these days. He's more of a fan than an intelligent person. In the days following the derailment, a video of the derailment was posted to a YouTube account, ZUnit06, which is believed to be associated with the teen, an investigator said in the document. This account features numerous videos of trains filmed in Bennett, Nebraska, and other locations in Lancaster County, Nebraska. The investigator said a video posted April 23 was titled "Loaded BNSF Arbor Collides and Derails in
right
Bennett."
Now, it's still live on YouTube.
Good.
Or it was still live in YouTube. It looks like it. Oh, okay. He edited it, so you're seeing it from both sides. I can't believe this is still live on YouTube. I mean, this should have been taken down.
It should have.
There he is. There comes the... what are those things called? I call them the ding 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 dings. I know they
Railroad
have a name.
crossings.
Yeah, what are those things called? The ding 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 dings that go down.
The arms.
The arms?
Electric arms, I think. I don't know.
Boring name.
I don't know what they're called.
Come
I've never
on,
been
I'm
asked
just
what the
gonna
ding.
continue to
I
call
just
them
call them the
ding,
ding.
ding, ding,
We'll just call them ding ding things.
Yeah, ding 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 dings.
Okay.
And there he goes. Wow. Yikes.
Unbelievable.
And then he shows it again. Yeah. Now, how did that... Okay, so the train ended up on the wrong track.
Mm-hmm.
And then that car was just hanging out there, the coal car.
Right.
And that caused the whole train to go off the tracks. What a moron. What an idiot. What a dumb
What a maroon.
What a cad. All right, onward and Edward, as we have been known to say.
This is about our former
this
president.
is so sad. This was actually tweeted out, and people believed that Jimmy Carter had died. And now he's.
I just checked a few minutes ago to make absolutely sure that he was not in fact dead.
Do they have a sign up like they had for Abe Vigoda, or it just said, yes,
Jimmy
he's
Carter's
still
not
alive?
dead.com. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Abe Vigoda dead.
Yeah, he's gone.
No, he is. But there. How do you spell his last name?
Vigoda.
alive. I think it was or was it? Is it dead? I can't remember which one it was.
I think it might just be abevagoda.com. I don't know.
Dead. Dead.com. Yes. It just says yes. Yeah, still up. Somebody, 2016. So yes, he's dead. So that was up. As long as I can remember that was up, and it would just have a picture of him that said no. Poor Abe. Anyways,
No,
Carter,
he embraced it.
that is funny.
He'd go on the Tonight Show and like it was an ongoing gag on the Tonight Show for years. Yeah.
He had such a good sense of humor. Such a great actor. Anyways, Jimmy Carter, terrible president, wonderful human being. Unfortunately, we cannot say the same for old Joe because he was terrible at both. He is still alive, but it was a fake death announcement. But what's really sad is it proved that people do not read. They don't read. A death hoax involving former President Jimmy Carter has been making its way around social media and seems to have fooled some despite clear, lewd comments and criticisms in the letter. The hoax document is headed with an emblem that says it's from the office of Jimmy Carter and proceeds to be critical of policies and events in the Carter presidency, including the Iran hostage crisis, because, that's what you'd put in your own death announcement, and relations with the Soviet Union and China.
His biggest failure as president. Let's put that on there.
Yeah. The hoax alleges that Jimmy Carter passed away at 1:34 a.m. Tuesday at his home in Plains. The fake letter refers to Rosalind Carter as a baddie and the original brat, while making lewd remark about the former First Lady Nancy Reagan. Oh man, they don't have it. It was basically saying she could shake her thing. A spokesperson for the Carter Center confirmed the letter was false. But, unfortunately, Utah Senator Mike Lee, his personal account, which is ineptly named Based Mike Lee, posted, and of course since deleted, offered his thoughts and prayers to the Carter family. The Republican senator's post featured the fake letter. Okay, I do want to give him props, though, because when Trump got shot at and narrowly missed being killed, everybody was like celebrating his death and, saying awful things or missed him and this and that. But when a Democrat dies, we come out and say thoughts and prayers for the family. I remember when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, we were like, the old broad really was tough, and she,
intelligent and tough. And
we've talked about this before, the difference in how we react, and yet we're called the haters and this and that. Anyways, he got 425,000 views on that. And then the reason I found this is because Carter was actually trending. And anytime you see an older actor or politician trending, you assume, the worst. The hoax included a misspelling of the word being, spelled B-W-E-I-N-G in the letter. The hoax also features a quote purporting to be from James Earl Chip Carter III that states, "He will be missed not only by our family, but by the American people and our enemies around the world who thrive today because of his peace through weakness agenda." Obviously not a Carter fan. Okay, but he is 99 years old. He will be 100 in October, and, he's probably going to make it.
Takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Yeah. My understanding is that he was in hospice, so this picture they have, he still looks pretty good, but I don't think he looks like that anymore. But yes, Jimmy Carter is still alive. And folks, if you see a post, read it. Don't just automatically click share without reading it, because you never know what you're actually sharing. Okay, so Carter's not dead, and apparently neither is this poor woman.
Neither is Constance Glantz. Isn't that just a name you would make up if you were writing a parody about something? Constance Glantz.
She sounds like a spy, that like a 006 or something. She.
The Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services has completed an investigation. We're in Nebraska again. After a woman pronounced dead at the Mulberry at
Nebraska's
Waverly.
not having a good week.
Was found to be alive in a Lincoln funeral home.
Oh no, they took her to the funeral. This poor woman.
The funeral director with Buttress Mazer and Love Funeral Home received the body of 74-year-old Constance Glantz on June 3rd around 11:45. While preparing the woman for embalming, the director heard a noise coming from Glance, or something like that, and discovered she was still alive.
Not dead yet.
Authorities were called to the funeral home, and Glance, who had been on hospice, was rushed to the hospital where she died later that day. That was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Sheriff Terry Wagner arrived at the Mulberry around 1 p.m. after learning of the incident, and an
That poor
investigation.
embalmer, he's
began.
like, lady's alive, and everybody's like, just give it a minute.
Report shows that. Well, I'm not dead yet. Clonk. A report shows that a registered nurse had confirmed Glance's death at 9:40 a.m. before beginning the process to report it, but DHHS said the nurse failed to completely and accurately assess their patient when her condition changed. You think?
When her condition changed from not being dead?
The investigation revealed that the nurse failed to check Glance's blood pressure after confirming she wasn't breathing and didn't have a pulse. They also failed to have a second licensed nurse verify the death before beginning the reporting process.
Yeah, I would want a second opinion on that.
She's not only merely dead, she's really most sincerely dead. The nurse who asserted Glance was suspended as a result of the investigation, according to the report. Geez, you think? During its investigation, the department also discovered that the nursing home had violated regulations in assessing the death of another patient on April 27th. The report showed the staff failed to assess the vital signs of one deceased patient and did not complete a record of death. Although staff failed to properly assess changes in their patients, the department did note that the process for reporting the deaths was done correctly. The nursing home was under investigation between June 4th and June 17th.
So they've done this before?
Yeah. DHHS issued disciplinary action against the Mulberry at Waverly on June 24th. Effective July 9th, the facility has been operating under a 180-day probationary period. During that time, the nursing home has been required to provide a plan of correction to the department. The disciplinary action also requires staff to provide a biweekly report regarding the change of conditions among its patients. In other words, they're being forced into doing what should be just, standard operating procedure.
Don't send live people to the morgue. That's not nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
The facility has also been prohibited from admitting new residents until staff have demonstrated compliance to the department's satisfaction. As part of its plan of correction, the Mulberry has suspended the nurse involved in Glance's case. It has also re-educated staff about death protocols and tightened rules for identifying changes in patients.
That was a re-education that I would not enjoy.
No,
Wow.
not at all. Okay, yeah, be competent. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Just don't. I hope the woman was not cognizant of her situation. I hope
It
she
doesn't
was-
sound like she would have been.
I hope not, because what a horrible thing to experience, even if you did die later that day. You just up in heaven going, well, that was the damnedest thing. Wow, that poor woman.
And now we have a brand new effective
Let's-
use for a mini
Let's
fridge.
get creative.
I never thought of using a mini fridge
well,
for
that's
this.
how else would you get cold hard cash?
Very good.
Thank you. I'm here all week. All right.
Yes, you are.
$7.7 million in property traced to as fraud. This is our unionized school teachers here, folks. California. Well, at least he put a lot of baking soda in there so it didn't smell, I guess. A former California
would hope
public
so.
school district official was sentenced to over 5 years in prison Thursday after officials found he embezzled nearly $16.7 million from the district over the years, hiding stacks of cash in a small refrigerator. Why would he do that? Why would you put stacks of... George Armando Contreras, 53, who he's younger than us, previously worked as the senior director of fiscal services at the Magnolia School District, a public school district that serves Anaheim and Stanton, faced his judgment Thursday in Santa Ana court. He was sentenced to 70 months of federal prison and ordered to pay $16,694,942. There was not a period in there after all. Why does he have to pay $16 million if he only stole 16? Oh no, he did steal 16.7 million. Okay, they rounded.
Yes.
Nearly. Okay, $16,694,942.27. In restitution, the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Central District of California said in a news release. Now, I wonder if the cash that was in the fridge, like, decreases that amount. You got all my cash in the fridge. Does that still count? He had pleaded guilty in March to 1 count of embezzlement, theft, and intentional misapplication of funds from an organization receiving federal funds. I mean, that was pretty efficient if he got that much money over that amount of time and nobody noticed. Well, that's a government employee for you. Prosecutors said that the Contreras was hired in 2006 and managed the fiscal operations of the district, where 81% of pupils from preschool through 6th grade are classified as socioeconomically disadvantaged. So he's basically stealing money from the poor kids. Nicely done, buddy. I mean, they pretty much give Chromebooks to kids now. They check out all my students have Chromebooks. Imagine the tools that you could have purchased to help these kids.
Exactly.
That instead he's just storing in his refrigerator. Instead of using the money he was entrusted with to managing the benefit the schools, he spent it on lavish lifestyle purchasing Louis Vuitton designer bags, a luxury car, and using the money toward a home.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt. Why is it always Louis Vuitton? They always, when they decide to live a lavish lifestyle, they always mention Louis Vuitton designer bags.
I don't know. I think they're ugly.
They're hideous and
We had an outlet in Vegas. They're ridiculously overpriced, and they're ugly.
even at the outlet store they were ridiculous.
Yeah, and they're ugly. It's just I don't get it.
I mean, I'm not sure who designs these designer bags, but
Well, isn't Louis Vuitton?
I have no idea. He's probably as dead as Gladys over there. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, when I was doing mystery shopping, I had to go into these high-end stores, and oh my goodness, would the salespeople gush over them and how adorable they are. And you have to pretend like you like them, and the whole time I'm like, this thing is hideous. And you don't have very many color choices, and the colors that you do have are not good. You know, I'd rather get a cheaper bag that's more fun or goes with what I'm wearing, or I don't know.
Plus, they're involved in forced labor, mistreatment of its
yeah,
models, and all the stuff.
And just ridiculously overpriced. They're freaking handbags.
And Louis Vuitton is quite dead. I mean,
Oh,
the label was founded in 1854, so I'm pretty sure he's gone.
Yeah, I just can't imagine what makes a handbag so special that you're willing to pay literally tens of thousands anyway.
I don't even buy Nike shoes. Those are overpriced.
Just don't do it, Jim. In his scheme, he
There you
wrote
go.
checks in small dollar amounts written to M space S space D with the letters spaced out. After receiving the paper signatures from others, he would fill in those blanks to spell fictitious names and increase the amounts of the checks and deposit them into his personal bank account at ATMs. No apostrophe needed. Bad editing. To conceal the theft, he provided bank reconciliation packets to others at the school district with falsified bank statements and records. And nobody looked it up.
Yep. Ugly bags.
You're still looking at the Louis
Very,
Vuitton.
very, very beautiful cash.
Yeah, the
but
cash is lovely.
Ugly bags.
I love how they stage it. It's like the Trump documents photo.
Yeah,
Yeah. Evidence in the case. That looks like what's that? The store with the child porn, not Bellagio. It starts with a B.
Oh, are you talking about Nud Colors of Benetton?
What? No, the ones that got in trouble recently because they had children in pornographic
I
poses.
couldn't tell you.
Yeah, well, we talked about it. I don't remember. But anyways, it looks like one of their ads with, cash spread out and satanic symbols and crazy things in the background.
Calvin Klein? No.
No, it started with a B. It's I think great. Now I can't remember his name. I think Kanye was involved in it somehow. Or used to advertise for them. We did a whole thing on it.
I'm sure we did.
Yeah, but Ye was involved. All right, so, he didn't even get fired. He's placed on administrative leave. He's probably still getting paid. Officials said the law enforcement seized approximately $7.7 million in personal and real property traced to his fraud, including a home in Yorba Linda, a 2021 BMW automobile, 57 luxury designer bags, most of them Louis Vuitton, pieces of jewelry, designer clothes, and shoes, and 8 bottles of Chase Azul ultra luxury tequila.
Was he straight? Anyway, it was
I don't think he was.
Balenciaga.
There we go. See, it was like Bellagio. So I'm really
Something
close.
like that.
I just didn't want to speak ill of the fountains. Photos released by the prosecutor's office showed a mini fridge stuffed with stacks of cash and an array of Louis Vuitton purses. So, why? Why with the purses? And of course, he's not responding.
Why would he?
A refrigerator.
Fridge.
I don't get it.
Fridge.
All right. Oh, you'll have fun with this one. We honor our firefighters. We love our firefighters.
We love our firefighters and we love beer.
But
come
not
on
together.
now.
Not together.
A Virginia firefighter is on administrative leave following a crash.
Why is everybody on administrative leave? Nobody gets fired?
But they have to put him on administrative leave while they do you have to assume innocence until proven guilty, so they're put on administrative leave while they do the...
I think blowing a .145 is evidence enough to...
Yeah. Anyhow, following a crash involving a fire engine, he was driving in a parked car. The reported collision occurred Tuesday afternoon when a fire engine being driven by 34-year-old Petersburg firefighter Aaron Michael Hinspater,
That's a heck of a name.
crashed into a parked car near the intersection of Sycamore and Bank Streets. According to the court documents, 34-year-old Aaron, I'm not going to say the name again, I don't know why they did that twice, was given a test
AMH.
for alcohol content in his system following the crash, and it came back, as Melanie's just said a moment ago, .145, nearly double the legal level. Authorities reported the Petersburg firefighter, once again, we already know he's a Petersburg firefighter. I'm turning into you.
I know, sorry.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway.
just the writing is so bad anymore. You can't help but make fun
Well,
of
I
it.
just run it through AI and slap it on the webpage without even thinking about it. Authorities reported he admitted to drinking 18 beers prior to his shift that day.
He sat there and counted 18 years?
Don't you think you would stop at, I don't know, 17?
Maybe.
I think
were they
if they
light
counted
beers?
if they counted 18, it was probably an 18 pack, and he probably just downed the whole thing.
Do they come in 18 packs?
Yes, they do
Especially
sometimes.
when I drink beer. Sometimes.
I'm the beer drinker.
Well,
in the
nowadays
family.
it's expensive.
Yeah, I'm stuck drinking Pabst, but
so
anyway.
he basically drank a whole case of beer.
Yeah, basically drank a whole case of beer.
Yeah, I don't want to
WWB.
say anything bad about the beer you drink because that would be a Pabst smear.
That was good. That was a couple of them in one show. That's two or three of them in one show. That's really good. WWBT reports that a witness who works nearby said they saw Hinspater getting a sobriety test after the collision. He was struggling through it, a man said. I was doing the same thing over and over again because he couldn't pass the first thing.
It's like Pelosi when the police officer asked him to touch his nose, so he reaches out and touches the officer's nose.
That's hilarious.
It didn't really happen,
I
but
know.
I can totally see it.
According to police, no one was in the parked car and no injuries were reported.
Well,
Thank
that's good.
goodness.
Could you imagine,
Authorities-
like, you park your car and you go in to get, like, a smoothie or something and you come out and a fire truck has crashed into it? That is so my life.
Authorities said Hinspater is facing a charge of, wait for it, driving while intoxicated.
You think?
Wow.
What about malicious mischief?
Okay, I'm not going to say any. The next sentence is redundant, so I'm going to leave it alone.
This is really bad writing. Who
Yeah.
wrote this? Oh,
KY3, the place to be. He.
Joel Vasquez.
WWBT.
It took two people to write this really bad article. Oy vey.
Yeah, we're not going to mention their names because we don't want to ruin their career.
Okay. One wounded in scumbag. Schomburg?
Schomburg, not
Okay.
scumbag.
So this is I loaded both of these articles because I wanted to go back and look at the original incident, which I think we may have talked about, maybe? Okay, no, this actually happened on Wednesday. So, you know, when you get up in the morning and like the crew from the city is working, you know, cutting trees or whatnot.
Sure.
Yeah, this really upset this guy. And, well, let me just read.
Please.
At least one person was wounded in a shooting, with police asking the public to avoid the surrounding area for residents near the scene to remain in their homes. So at this point, they didn't know who did what. According to the authorities, officers responded to reports of a shooting and discovered one person who had sustained a gunshot wound. Braintree Drive is closed in both directions between Cornell Lane and Cambridge Drive as police investigate. According to the latest update, police are responding to a barricaded suspect at this time. and they are asking residents near the location to stay in their homes. They have also called in additional law enforcement agencies to the scene for assistance. A later update from officials confirmed that the shooting followed a noise dispute between a resident and a contracted tree trimmer. Authorities say the victim of the gunshot wound is employed by the tree trimming company. So this poor guy just out there doing his job. And it was 2:50 p.m., so it's not like it was 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right. 5 a.m. I might be upset, but 2:30. I mean, that's everybody.
So here's our update.
Yeah.
Man who shot tree trimmer in Schaumburg following noise dispute told authorities he heard voices from outer space.
I am very angry indeed.
Where's the kaboom? There was
Where's
supposed
the
to be
kaboom?
this shattering kaboom.
God.
Heard voices from outer space. Additional details in the shooting of a tree trimmer in Schaumburg. I hope that tree trimmer dude's okay. Following a noise dispute with a nearby resident that led to an hours-long standoff, were revealed in court Friday. Wow, they got him in quick. Shortly after the charges were filed against a suspect, Michael Lang, 55, was charged with 1 count of attempted murder and 1 count of aggravated battery with a firearm in connection to the incident. When I think of battery with a firearm, I think of him actually smacking him upside the head with the gun.
Yeah, taking a rifle and belting him upside the head with a stock,
But dude was cutting a tree, so he's probably up in a bucket. According to court documents, 4 employees of the Davy Tree Expert Company were... Davy Tree Expert Company? Okay. We're doing landscape work for a homeowner at approximately 2:46 p.m.
Middle of the afternoon. Why?
Yeah,
why
right
the
smack in the
thing?
middle. I mean, that's a perfectly appropriate time to do this type of stuff. You want to get out there with blowers and mowers and all the things. 2:46 p.m., absolutely appropriate. I stand by the Davy Tree Expert Company and their work ethic. The homeowner was a regular customer of the Davy Tree Expert Company and was known to all 4 employees. According to a bond court proffer, what is a proffer? P-R-O-F-F-E-R?
Offer. It's just it's a legal term for offer.
Okay. The homeowner lives with his wife and son, the latter of whom is Michael Lang, the defendant. So the son but he's 50-something? He's 55, so he lives with his mommy and daddy? Weird. Okay. Prior to Wednesday, none of the 4 employees had interacted with Lang, according to the proffer. At approximately 2:30 p.m. Wednesday, Lang's parents left for dinner, leaving Lang home alone, which apparently you can't do when your 55-year-old son that still lives with his mommy and daddy isn't well. Shortly afterwards, Lang opened the garage door and exited the garage wearing a white t-shirt and gray shorts, according to the proffer. I think a proffer is like a dossier or...
Sure.
Yeah, okay. At this time, Lang told the employees that they were making too much noise and had to leave, to which one of the employees responded that they were almost done with their work, the proffer said. Lang then walked toward a dark blue Mazda 3 that was parked in... This is really detailed. It was parked in the driveway, opening the door and grabbing a silver revolver before exiting with nice little gold lame... Silver revolver.
And a horsey on it.
And a silver revolver. Before exiting, according to the proffer, Lang then pointed the firearm toward the employees, telling them, "I told you to leave. One of you is going to die." Dude, chill. Take your meds. Touch grass. My lord. At this time, Lang fired 1 shot at an employee, a 66-year-old man, this poor old guy, striking him in the stomach. Lang then walked back inside the house through the garage, closing the garage door behind him, the proffer said. So he walks out there and says, "Hey, stop it." And "Oh, we're almost done." Bang. Bye, and just walks right back. Lord. One of the other employees called 911 at this time, as did a driver passing by that observed the incident from his vehicle. Approximately 2 minutes later, 2 minutes later, good job, cops, arrived on the scene and discovered the victim laying unresponsive in the
What
back.
fictional town is this?
I don't know. I'm beginning to wonder if this is
I
made
want to
up.
move there.
Me too. On his back in the front yard. 2 minutes. That is fantastic. The man was stuck. Well, it can't be a liberal town because there's no way. The man was struck to the lower abdomen with the bullet not exiting, according to the proffer.
Thank good thing.
Is that a good thing? The man was then transported to Lutheran General Hospital, where he was treated for a fractured spine, ruptured liver, and internal intestinal damage.
That's pretty serious.
Oh, that is severe. During surgery, a projectile, which they put in quotey quotes, was recovered from his body, court documents reveal. Oh, man, I hope this guy 66 years old. He's got a long road.
Yeah.
Oh. A standoff ensued between Lang, who remained inside the residence, and law enforcement, with multiple attempts to communicate via phone and loudspeaker, deemed unsuccessful. Yeah, guy's a little kooky. Shortly after 4:35 p.m., Lang's parents returned home and learned what had happened, informing police that there were also firearms inside the residence. Court documents revealed Lang's parents said they were unaware of any possible mental health issues with their son. He's in his late 50s and he lives with his mommy and daddy. Are you sure? Lang called 911 twice while inside the
Maybe
residence
living there
during
to help them
standoff.
out, though. I mean, there's that. Sometimes people move back in with their parents to take care of them.
Doubt it.
Yeah.
Telling the dispatcher that someone was sending him messages from outer space. Lang requested an ambulance to take him to the hospital in his second message, according to the proffer. At 9:18 p.m., Lang exited the residence wearing the same clothes he was wearing at the time of the shooting and surrendered, being taken into custody by the Northern Illinois. Why do we care what he was wearing? He was wearing Chanel with a Louis Vuitton bag. You know, why do we care?
Hello!
He went to the medical center, search warrant, found a cell phone, 5 handguns, 3 boxes of ammunition, and a bunch of loose ammunition. Lang's father told the authorities he was the owner of 3 of the handguns, according to court documents. But they don't get any of those back. Lang's parents said the other 2 handguns, one of which was a Smith & Wesson silver revolver, well, there's our silver gun, belonged to Lang, but both weapons were recovered from Lang's bedroom, where bills and a passport in Lang's name were found. Passport? The revolver was a 5-shot revolver that remained loaded with 4 live rounds. This is really detailed. 1 spent shell casing was recovered from the office attached to Lang's bedroom, court documents said. I thought he fired outside. How did he get it? Lang is due to appear in court August 23rd. Rolling Meadows, no further information available.
No further information necessary. My God, they're so detailed.
Prayers go out to that old man that just didn't do anything wrong. Crazy.
All right. So this is from our friends in Warsaw, Poland. Supermarket chain Carrefour SA said on Friday it has notified local police after employees at one of its Warsaw stores had found suspicious parcels in a delivery of bananas, which police later confirmed to be They immediately notified the police, who quickly secured the batch of goods and started an
We
investigation.
just bought bananas.
But there wasn't any cocaine in them.
Yeah, nothing
so.
special in our bananas, dang it.
Sent an email to Reuters adding that it was cooperating with the investigation. Warsaw police said the packages contained over 160 kilograms of worth 30 million zlotys.
A zloty.
Or $8.14 million. That's a lot of bucks.
That's a lot of dollars.
Drugs were discovered at several branches of one of the chain stores, Warsaw police said on Twitter.
Oh, so they're using the stores.
Yeah, there's somebody using the...
Ruh-roh.
State-run news agency PAP reported that the first packages with cocaine were found in a Carrefour store in the center of Warsaw, and later the drug was discovered also in other shops in the capital and nearby. A Warsaw police spokesman was not immediately available to comment. So there.
Well, folks, we're going to head into the new abnormal, and we're going to talk about Biden's stepping down speech. I think we should take a look at that.
Yeah, let's do that.
This is not Barbara Walters. It is no longer 2020. But this is your new abnormal.
I can do things other people can't. And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, and to get hot, I got hairy legs.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
And I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion.
I said, you're not getting the building, I'm gonna be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. Ambrose Brosey, they call him Bosey, my Uncle Bosey. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there used to be a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Just clap for that, you stupid bastard.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
这是真的一场
I'm the only white boy within 20 miles.
Well,
whatever
that
it's
is our
worth.
dear leader who is still in office and will be leading this nation for the next few months. Perfectly capable of doing that.
Despite not being capable of doing a debate and not being called by somebody who was going to investigate him.
Yeah.
Just a confused old man.
Just a sweet, confused old man driving this nation into the
I am
dirt.
so glad he will be gone in January. No matter whether even if Miss Harris takes the White House, I'll be so glad he's gone.
No, the same puppet masters will be in
It
place.
it just feels better to me.
Having somebody who, I mean, she can barely speak too. I mean, she looks drunk all the time, but
I know,
you
and
get used
I'm
to it with
just
Pelosi, so.
I still say we're better off, even if she's in office rather than him.
Yeah, I mean, at least foreign leaders will just find her annoying
Yeah,
rather than,
absolutely laughable.
having to babysit. Well, I thought it would be interesting for us to just kind of, I mean, his speech was so short. And there were some really weird things that I
The I'm
noticed.
stepping down or not running speech. Cool.
Well, I mean, first he broke up with us via text, basically.
Yeah, I
But-
think our friend is going to have something to say about that. in the
Yeah.
future.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love Chuck. Well, we'll play that right after this. And anyways, I've got this loaded. I thought maybe we and then like I said, there's a few really weird things that I noticed that I thought perhaps we might want to look at. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna play this. Hopefully it works. Here we go. Of course, ABC will probably have a fit and take us down, but yeah, whatever. We'll be pausing it along the way to hopefully not get busted and whatnot. But a lot of people did this live. We just aren't that sophisticated.
We don't have it. We don't have the goods for that right
Well,
now.
actually, I was working, so
Oh, there's that too.
yeah. This is not our full-time gig, but if you would like to help us transition into that, please visit CounterCultureWISE.com and look at all the different ways that you can support this podcast.
Indeed.
We will happily sell anything. Just let us know. Anyways, we do have merch. There's new stuff coming.
We're not selling the Let's Go Brandon shirts and much longer.
That's true. I need to pull those. And
Yeah, there's really not
and the
much point.
no-brainer. And
Yeah.
those need
Just
to be pulled.
anything involving Ding Dong over here. It's
Yeah. Well, we'll get the
we'll get some
the
Kackling Kamala stuff
the Harris
up.
hyenas up, and so many people are already selling that. I'm surprised Disney hasn't posted. I actually hand drew Smeagol.
Really.
I hand drew it myself, and they took it down for copyright. And there's like 97,000 other people on the exact same sites selling different cartoon versions and whatnot, but they took mine down for copyright because it said the faxes they burnses, and they didn't like the implications of that, I guess, because nobody else got taken down, just me. It's the weirdest thing. And it's not like I was borrowing their drawing. I drew it myself by hand. I still
Bingo.
have it. So I might put that up on a different site. See if it floats. We had our Starcuts logo taken down because they said it was copyrighted. I'm like,
No.
literally the only thing those two logos have in common is the color green.
The color green and a similar font.
That's it.
That's it.
That is it. Nothing else is the same. And I drew that dragon. He's a two-headed dragon, not a two-tailed mermaid. It's like, wow. So I went to a different merch shop and it's up there, no problem. So it's just weird what they'll pick
Indeed.
to take you down for. Okay, so I have one other video I want to show after we watch this,
Okay.
just to compare and contrast between when he gave the statement to the nation about the Trump incident versus him stepping down, because it's uncanny. It's just so weird. So without further ado,
My fellow Americans, I'm speaking to you tonight from behind the resolute desk.
I'm figuring
He thinking?
he didn't even get 3 words out.
My fellow Americans are thinking.
I'm figuring.
We're going to be
in the Oval
stuck.
Office. In this sacred space, I'm surrounded by portraits of extraordinary American presidents. Thomas Jefferson wrote the immortal words that guide this nation. George Washington, who showed us presidents are not kings. Abraham Lincoln
Abraham?
implored us
Abam?
Abraham.
Abam Lee? Abam?
Abraham Lincoln.
Abam Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Tell you what, Abam.
to reject malice. Franklin Roosevelt, who inspired us to reject fear. I revere this all.
Oh, listen to the swallowing and
Okay.
the lip smacking. Whoever mic'd him hates him.
Oh, that's
I
okay.
can't-
Everybody hates him.
I can't see it. Oh, there it is. It's on his tie. I don't know why, with the mic all the way down there, why we're here. I mean, it's really weird. And also listen to the ambient noise.
Okay.
Because when you go back and you watch other addresses from supposedly the same spot, none of those noises are
Well,
there.
not supposed to be.
Yeah, so
I mean, they're supposed to be like the top of their game to
I'm wondering
in
if
front of the
maybe
line people.
they shuffled him to a bunker somewhere and he's in front of a blue screen. I know that sounds tinfoily, but it's
It is
really
very
bizarre.
tinfoily, but
Yeah, well,
But I love my country more. It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think it's more important than any title. I draw strength and I
Democracy
find
is at
joy
stake.
in working for the American people. But this sacred task
what's that?
of perfecting our union, it's not about me.
He's
It's
nervous.
about you, your families, your futures.
Do you think there's somebody off to the side with like a gun to either Jill or his dog or Hunter?
Oh.
Or, it seems like he's under duress of some
Yeah.
sort.
well, I mean, his whole leaving is under duress. He doesn't want to go.
Yeah, he had no desire. And the whole rest of this thing is basically a campaign speech. I don't know why they let him go on and on, even though he's reading. And what's really weird, too, is that the teleprompter is not in front of the camera, so he's like
Right.
talking off into space. It's weird.
It's about we, the people. We can never forget that. And I never have.
Forgot everything else.
I've made it clear that I believe America is at an inflection point. One of those rare moments in history when the decisions we make now will determine our fate of our nation and the world for decades to come.
Will determine our fate of our nation.
America's going to have to choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division. We have to decide, do we still believe in honesty, decency, respect?
Obviously, we don't, Joe, because you're sitting behind
never-
that desk.
You never, I mean, this is a guy who didn't show a whole lot of respect for people who opposed his viewpoints.
Yeah. And
You know,
he
taking them
doesn't-
out by the woodshed,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of stuff.
Hey, fat. Yeah.
Freedom, justice, and democracy. In this moment, we can see those we disagree with not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. Can we do that?
We could have. We could have. I was happy to do that, but
Yeah,
then
but-
you and your kind came along and ruined
You
it.
called us terrorists. You called us Nazis. You called us deplorable.
We're not forgiving, we're not forgetting.
No,
Just
because you'll
done
do it
with that.
again.
He still has a
Kamala-
few months to do
Kamala's
this.
already doing it.
Does character in public life still matter?
Then
It always has.
Maybe you might want to consider participating in
Try to do it once.
Yeah.
I believe I know the answer to these questions because I know you, the American people. And I know this. We are a great nation because we are good people. When you
Is that all of us? Because you said about 50-60% of us are terrorists
Yeah.
and nationalists that need to be imprisoned.
Yeah.
You
And you also said, let's not forget that Trump needs to be in the bullseye. Okay,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
don't, because we're good people.
well, and Trump is literally Hitler, which means that we all follow, or we're somehow in a cult or something, and we're following literally Hitler, and he does pretty much go on about
elect
that.
me to this office, I promise to always level with you,
No, you don't.
And you never did.
tell you the truth.
You never
and
did.
you never did.
The truth.
You never did. I'll say it
Sacred
again.
cause of this country is larger than any one of us.
Uh-huh.
Those of us who cherish that cause
Those
cherish
of us
it
who
so
cherry the
much.
cause?
I don't even know what he was.
What
supposed
is a cherry cause?
Those are-
Is that some kind of
those are
special
the
puff
cherry-
pastry with cherry in
to.
it?
I really don't know what he's saying there. I honestly don't.
Okay. We
I'm
you
sure
know,
there's a
Cause of
transcript.
American democracy itself
American
we know what he
must
said.
unite to protect it.
We should, but we
You know, in
haven't.
recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term.
He still
Nothing.
believes that.
Yeah, he does.
Nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation.
About
About
time.
damn
It's the best way to
time.
unite our nation.
Problem is, you skipped right over us.
You know, there is a time and a place for long years of experience in public life.
No, there isn't.
There's also a time and a place for new voices,
Uh-huh.
fresh voices.
And that time was
yes,
20 years
younger
ago.
voices.
Uh-huh.
And that time and place is now.
No, time and place is 20 years ago, like my wife
For the
said.
next 6 months,
Because the importance of the passage of time is to look at the passage of time, because the passage of time
Is important.
important.
Because it's the passage of time.
Yes, and as time passes, it becomes the passage of time.
And we have to put up with that for 6 months at least.
So let me do it right. So the passage of time.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll be focused on doing my job as president.
For the first time
That
ever.
means I'll continue to lower costs for hardworking families,
No, you won't.
Since when?
grow our economy.
No, you won't.
Since when?
I'll keep defending our personal freedoms and our civil rights,
Like
from
censoring
the right to
us?
vote to the right to choose.
The right to choose what,
I'll
Joe?
keep calling out hate and extremism. Make
What
it clear
hate?
there
What
is no
extremism?
place in America for political violence.
Yeah, so
Or any violence
stop
that ever
pursuing
why did you
your
order his-
political...
I'm going to keep speaking out
You're going to keep
to protect our kids from gun
Beep,
violence.
beep, beep.
Isn't that a song by the Bee Gees? Keep beating out. Just picturing roller skates and
I
disco
think that
lights.
might have been Duran Duran, but the important
Oh.
thing is, never mind.
Our plan from climate
Anyway,
crisis is the existential threat.
You're the
And I
existential
will keep
threat.
fighting for my cancer moonshot so we can end cancer as we know it, because we can do it.
that's right. He's supposed to have ended cancer by now.
You were supposed to cure cancer, Joe. You're a miserable failure, son.
You promised. What has he been doing about it? Because this is the first time I've heard about it since he's been in office.
He mentioned he was going to do it when he got into office.
Well, right.
And, nothing like the last 5 months of your
Well,
presidency
he ran on the fine people hoax,
Yeah.
the drink bleach hoax. So why would anybody assume that he's going to actually frickin' cure cancer? I mean, come on, people. His entire platform is a hoax. Not to mention the fact that he's been brain dead since, 2016.
He's been dead from the neck up for a long time.
I mean, people made fun of his dementia when he was vice president.
Yeah.
I'm going to call for Supreme Court reform because this is critical to our democracy. Supreme Court reform.
He's like Shelley from South Park. It's like his braces are getting in the way of his teeth. I think he's been taking diction lessons from Nancy Pelosi. What do you think?
I think that's true.
I will keep working to ensure America remains strong.
That should be the next Deanna School of Diction ad is the Nancy Pelosi,
Oh my God.
Joe Biden.
That's not a bad
Deanna
idea.
School of Diction. got like a series of them now.
Secure, and the leader of the free world. I'm the first president of this century to report to the American people that the United States is not at war anywhere in the world.
Liar!
Oh.
You are a big
You
liar!
are literally paying for both sides of two different wars right now, and those are the ones we know of. And you handed those poor women and children over to brutal murderers and rapists in Afghanistan, basically gave them an entire military arsenal.
And looked at your watch while the bodies
And
were
looked at your
passing
watch
by.
while the bodies of Marines that you murdered because of your failure were taken off that plane that's supposed to be a dignified transfer, and you couldn't even dignify them with paying
You
attention.
should have stayed home, son. Just should have stayed home.
We'll keep rallying a coalition of proud nations to stop Putin from taking over Ukraine.
By engaging in the war you just said you didn't do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Putin wouldn't have bothered with Ukraine if you and NATO hadn't been knocking on his back door, like he told you multiple times.
And your
not
replacement,
to do.
your ultimate replacement will make sure this doesn't continue. I think
This
the
wouldn't
spigot
have
will be
happened
turned off.
under Trump.
No,
None
it
of
wouldn't
this would
happen
have
at all.
happened.
Not at all.
The whole Gaza thing wouldn't have happened. You are weak. You are weak and ineffective. You traded the Merchant of Death for a barely passing basketball player who got there in trouble for drug possession. Meanwhile, we have a Marine and reporters and folks that deserve to come home rotting in prison because you had to get a basketball player home.
Doing more damage. We'll keep NATO stronger.
No, you won't.
NATO needs to
NATO-
end. If NATO didn't exist, the Ukraine war wouldn't exist. You know what? The best way to solve this whole Ukraine war, have Russia join NATO, which, oh wait, makes NATO completely useless.
That's why I vote to put them in NATO, whether
Yeah.
they want to be or not. Put them in NATO.
There's no reason for NATO to exist anymore.
It's outdated.
And I'll make it more powerful and more united
Of course
than
you
any
will.
time in all of our history. I'll keep doing the same for our allies in the Pacific.
Don't make me laugh.
You know, when I came to office,
At least he said Pacific. I was expecting him to say specific.
That's true.
the conventional wisdom was that China would inevitably surpass the United States.
They have.
That's not the case anymore.
Yeah, it is.
Why are we whispering?
And I'm going to keep
Why are you
working
whispering?
to end the war in Gaza. Bring home all
When you started,
allowed the war in
for
Gaza,
pretty
and
much,
now
you pretty
are
much
paying,
started it
You're
almost.
paying for both sides of it now.
the hostages and bring peace and
What, are you going to trade him for the Merchant of Death? Or I have an idea. Let's trade him for WNBA players.
security to the Middle East and end this war. We're also working around the clock to bring home Americans being unjustly detained.
No, you're not.
You
They already
are-
would have been home by now, ding bong.
And you yourself are currently unjustly detaining Americans here on American soil. You are keeping political prisoners under charges of things like trespassing. You are detaining American citizens for political gain. You are, Biden. I wish you could hear us.
All around the world.
He wouldn't hear it.
You know, we've come so far since my inauguration.
Yeah, we come so far down the
On
toilet.
that day, I told you, as I stood in that winter, we stood in a winter of peril and a winter of possibilities.
What?
I think he made an analogy back then to a winter of
Walking around in winter underwear. Later on,
will expire, sucking fumes on the fire.
What? Seriously, what the hell is he talking about?
I have no idea.
Peril and possibilities. We're in the grip of we were in the grip of the worst pandemic in the century. The worst
Which you
economic crisis
extended.
since the Great Depression.
Which you extended.
The worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
No.
We
What?
came together as Americans. We got through it. We emerged strong.
So, just so we're clear, we've got the Fine People hoax, the Drink Bleach hoax, and the January 6th was an insurrection hoax.
Right.
It's a hoax, folks.
Hoax, folks.
Now I want to make a T-shirt. It's a hoax, folks. January
Yeah.
January 6th.
I'm
the
tired
date
of
that
even
will
thinking about
live
January
in-
6th. It was how many years ago has
They
it been
need to
now?
get over it. You're not going to take down a nation with paperwork and, a guy dressed as a buffalo. It's just, that's not a thing.
Stronger, more prosperous, and more secure.
No, we're not.
Today we
will
have the
be in
strongest
January.
economy in the world, creating nearly 16 million new jobs, a record.
We restored
Wages are up.
You didn't create jobs, Joe. You didn't create jobs. You just let businesses open again.
Inflation continues to come down.
No.
No, it
The
hasn't.
racial wealth gap is
Okay, it surged up to 19% and it's come down like 1% or 2%.
the lowest it's been in 20 years. We're literally rebuilding our entire nation, urban, suburban, rural, and tribal communities.
Isn't this the guy that promised that there'd be high-speed internet everywhere and he hasn't built a single line?
That's my
Nothing?
understanding. He hasn't done a darn thing about that.
I mean, if it weren't for Starlink, we wouldn't have internet.
It's true.
And we're not that far out in the Wild West.
We're in the boonies, but yeah, we should have had something.
Manufacturing has come back to America. We're leading the world again in chips and science and innovation.
Potato
We
chips.
finally beat Big Pharma after all these years to lower the cost of prescription drugs for seniors. And I'm going to keep fighting to make sure we lower the cost for
You are a liar. You are a liar. You reversed Trump's executive orders lowering the drug cost, reversed them, then turned around and reversed them, and took credit for it. You are a liar, Joe Biden.
everyone, not just seniors. More people have health care today in America than ever before.
I don't.
And I signed one of the most significant laws helping millions of veterans and their families who are exposed to toxic materials. You know, most significant climate law ever in the history of the world. The first major gun safety law in 30 years.
That's not a good thing, Biden. That is not a. You're bragging about something that nobody wants.
Today, the violent crime rate is at a 50-year low.
Lie.
Lie. They actually had to cook the statistics and remove certain things in order to get a lower amount. And he does the same thing with the border. Everybody who's coming across the border that says, oh, asylum, which is pretty much all of them, they don't count them now. They don't
That
count
figures.
them as border crossers anymore.
That figures.
So he goes on to lie about the border.
We're also securing our border.
No, you're not.
Border crossings are lower today than when the previous administration left office.
No, they're not.
I've kept my commitment to appoint the first black woman to the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
To the street
So-
core?
Your racist, sexist policy, yay, I guess?
I also
Wait, she doesn't know what a woman is. So as far as we know, he didn't appoint a woman.
kept my commitment to have an administration that looks like America and be a president.
You mean
Was
like...
it supposed to look like Lithuania? What are you talking
yeah,
about?
are we talking about the sodomy, the trans bare breasts, the cocaine, or the roller skating gay people? I'm not sure what America's supposed to look like in your White House, honey.
For all Americans. That's what I've done. I ran for president 4 years ago because I believed and still do that the soul of America was at stake. The very nature of who we are was at stake. And that's still the case.
No.
America's an idea. An idea stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant.
Ain't no man high enough.
That's
If it's more powerful than any dictator, here's an idea. Stop dictating.
It's the most powerful idea in the history of the world. That idea is that we hold these truths to be self-evident.
You know the thing.
We're all created equal.
You said it
Endowed
right
by our
this time,
Creator with
yeah.
certain inalienable rights.
It's because
Life,
it's right in
liberty,
front of him.
pursuit of happiness. We've never fully lived up to it,
Cool.
to this sacred idea. But we've never walked away from it either.
You did.
And I do not believe the American people will walk away from it now. In just a few months, The American people will choose the course of America's future. I made my choice. I made my views known. I would like to thank our great Vice President Kamala Harris. She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable. She's been an incredible partner to me and a leader for our country.
She called you racist.
Now the choice is up to you, the American people. When you make that choice, remember the words of Benjamin Franklin's hanging on my wall here in the Oval Office, alongside the busts of Dr. King and Rosa Parks and Cesar Chavez. When Ben Franklin was asked, as he emerged from the convention going on, whether the founders had given America a monarchy or republic,
He went off script.
Franklin's response was, a republic, if you can keep it. A republic, if you can keep it.
Yeah, well, we could keep it.
Yeah, but they don't believe we're a republic. They keep calling us a democracy. He's called us that 3 times in this speech alone.
Whether we keep our republic is now in your hands. My fellow Americans, it's been the privilege of my life to serve this nation for over 50 years.
Didn't you already say that?
Nowhere else on earth could a kid with a stutter.
You never had a stutter. We can go back all the way to the 1970s and watch you scream the N-word on the House floor. You didn't stutter, big boy. There was no stutter. They made that up when you started going senile. Everybody knows that. You can follow the timeline. There's nothing in your history ever mentioning a stutter until you started going senile, and then they went back and rewrote history. You never had a stutter. You still don't.
From modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, one day sit behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office.
What did he do behind the Resolute desk?
Stand behind it? I don't know.
One day shit behind the red. That's what he said.
Well, he's probably done that behind those.
Probably doing it right now.
Office as President of the United States. But here I am. That's what's so special about America.
We've been trying to
We're a
do it
nation
since
of
the
promise
70s.
and possibilities, of dreamers and doers, of ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things.
Of meat puppets.
I've given my heart and my soul to our nation, like so many others.
If you gave your heart and your soul for the nation, you wouldn't live in a mansion and have multiple other properties. That's
know
not
you
how
sold
that
your soul
works.
to.
That's not how that works.
You may want to
Biden.
pray that back.
I've been blessed a million times in return
A million
with
times.
the love and support of the American people.
Different
I
countries.
hope you have some idea how grateful I am to all of you. The great thing about
For funding my lavish lifestyle, because I've been stealing from you since the 1980s.
America is here. Kings and dictators do not rule. The people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands. We just have to keep faith,
Planet?
keep the faith, and remember who we are. We're the United States of America, and there's simply
It's hard being united when our dictator calls us deplorable and, toxic and the greatest threat to the nation and Nazis. And how can we be united when you, dictator Biden, dictator Cabbage, are holding people prisoner for just ridiculous things and passing laws that take away our freedoms, that take away our rights, that, my God, he's delusional. He's absolutely delusional.
nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. So let's act together. Preserve our democracy.
If we have
Preserve
to
our
take-
democracy.
Didn't you just say we're a republic?
Yeah.
If we can keep it.
If we can keep it.
God bless you all. May God protect our troops.
If you were to put holy water on your forehead, you would burst into flames.
Thank you.
So there was something else you wanted to show us now that
Yeah,
that
so
nonsense is over.
I took a side-by-side comparison. Okay, so this is a side-by-side comparison that I took of the 2 different speeches. And there's 2 things I want you to pay attention, 3 things I want you to pay attention to.
Okay.
Number 1 is look what's behind him. And number 2 is look at the color of his skin And then number 3, I did not take audio because it wasn't really that different. But just look at his animation and the way he talks and moves. It's. I'm not saying anything. It's just, I guess my first question is, why did they flip around all of his pictures? It's having been on, movie sets and helping with continuity.
Right.
I'm just curious. That's all I'm saying. Just curious.
Why the continuity is so discontinuous?
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at this.
All right.
Now, like I said, there's no sound. But you start with him. This is the one that we just watched.
Okay.
Okay. And he's reserved, but that is a shorter, lighter man. And look at the pictures.
They're reorganized.
A couple of them are swapped, and then there's a couple of different ones.
Right.
And I mean, the camera angle's obviously different.
A little different. That's
He's
to be expected.
still got the squinty eyes going on. That big cleft in his chin. So I don't think we're talking body double or anything, but
Right.
he's definitely hopped up on drugs in one of them. And like I said, I still think he might not actually be in the Oval Office for one
You
of
think
these.
there might be a studio thing where there's just a...
Well, I mean, everybody
blue
knows
screen?
it was on the news and everything. Everybody knows that they had a full set built
That's true.
across the street.
That's true.
Not sure why, but
Not for security.
if you listen to the sound between these two videos,
Mm-hmm.
there is a lot of ambient noise going on in the one where he's stepping down,
Mm-hmm.
and none in any of the other videos where he's. It's just
Reeks of weirdness.
weird. So either the folks who produce the videos weren't on their game. But I mean, the camera angle, how he slumped over, the different color in his skin, boy, they bronzed the daylights out of him.
Yeah, they did.
And just the I mean, I'm going total tinfoil hat here, but these are like a couple of days apart.
Right.
Why is the tree in the bottom one so much more mature than the tree in the top one?
Don't know.
Did they trim it? I mean,
No idea.
maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's just odd if you play them side by side. So, yeah, that's just shoulders are different size. I mean, hair's different. Eyes slightly less squinty. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's a body double or anything crazy like that. It's just, those are some really good drugs. Really good drugs. All right. Well, I think we've bashed the old president. I feel, it's funny. I felt sorry for him. And then I found out what an absolute rat bastard he's been his entire life. How just awful he's been. And that he's literally a treasonous traitor.
Very
And-
much so. Has been for a long
now
time.
I don't feel sorry for him. I just don't. I just wish he was cognizant of how awful he is and how people the world over make fun of him. And speaking of making fun of people,
Yes.
have you seen this Russian Olympics ad?
No, show it. Let's see it.
Okay, I don't have the sound on for this one either because I don't want to get in trouble. Plus, it's all in Russian, but they
Yeah.
have subtitles. So, given what just went down with the Olympics, and we'll be talking about that too.
In a few moments. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is an ad. I don't think it's an ad. I think it's like a Saturday Night Live, like the Russian version of Saturday Night Live. The year is 2060. The number of
God.
transgender and other representatives of the LGBT. Look at the side. Look at his pants. It's hilarious. The guy in the middle, the guy with the boobs. The Fag Olympics.
Oh, boy. Oh, my.
Lesbian yachting, trans plowing, fencing, is rock climb licking, strawberry rubber ball with ticklers, sock surfing. Oh my God, fagulation,
Fagulous.
Lewando, swing golf, and water strap polo.
Oh, dear Lord.
Russia, due to lack of athletes in these, was eliminated.
heavens.
So
We are the laughing stock.
we are the laughing stock of the world. And that was actually,
No, it's probably it could be just as well aimed at France though, but
that's true, because that's
that's
kind
where all
of
this nonsense is happening.
where
so.
things went down this weekend. So let's talk
And
about
boy, did they go
France and the gaslighting, the absolute gaslighting that they're doing to us in français. Yeah. So I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Okay. A group of drag queens and dancers performed what appeared to be a parody of The Last Supper at the 2024 Paris Olympics opening ceremony on Friday, sparking criticism on social media. The idea of drag queens doing the parody of the iconic painting didn't go down well with many. This is crazy. Opening your event by replacing Jesus and the disciples at the Last Supper with men in drag, Clint Russell, the host of the Liberty Lockdown podcast, fumed on X. There are 2.4 billion Christians on earth, and apparently the Olympics wanted to declare loudly to all of them, right out of the gate, not welcome, said Russell.
This is supposed to be inclusive.
Yeah, it is supposed to be. During the performance, a group of 18 artists, including 3 well-known drag race France queens, posed behind what resembled a long table with the Seine River and Eiffel Tower dramatically in the background. In the center was a woman adorned in elaborate clothing and a large
Not
silver
a
headdress, we'll go with it, that looked like a halo
Maybe
from
it is a
traditional
woman.
paintings of Jesus.
Maybe that's the only one up there that is.
Could be.
It has
She's-
cleavage, whatever it is.
She smiled and formed a heart shape with her hands while her fellow performers gazed at the camera, eventually launching into a coordinated dance routine. Models then took over the stage for an impromptu fashion show, with the figures mimicking the Last Supper, moving rhythmically along the edges. The showcase evolved, or devolved, depending on your point of view, into a dance party featuring Drag Race France host Nikki Doll strutting down the runway along with contestants Paloma and Piche. According to the absurdity, adding to the absurdity, a large serving tray was placed on stage, unveiling a barely dressed man placed entirely in sparkling blue, curled up inside. The Olympics explained that the performance was meant to be an interpretation of the Greek god Dionysus, intended to highlight the absurdity of violence among people. However, it didn't go down well with many. Several social media users felt that the performance mocked Christianity, and some French politicians criticized the show.
And nobody mentioned the fact that there's a small child in the front.
Yeah, there's that. Or a very, very short
And
adult.
this guy over here, his balls are literally hanging outside of his pants. I mean, you can't unsee that.
No, you really can't. I'm trying to. Marianne Maréchal, a practicing Catholic, took to X to express her disapproval. To all of the Christians watching the Paris 2024 ceremony who felt insulted by this drag queen
Just for
parody.
the record, the picture I have up right now, hold on a second, I might have something covering it here, hold on. The picture that I have up right now was tweeted out by the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
They are proud of this.
They knew about it. Here in
They
the
are
States,
proud
NBC
of
knew
this.
about it, and they still let
they
it happen.
tweeted this out, and it's still up. The dude with his nutsack hanging out, the small child right there in the line of fire, the naked Smurf guy, the fat broad with the cleavage and the star thing on her head. Even if this wasn't a mockery of the Last Supper, this is a mockery of humanity.
It is.
This is making fun of women for sure, but humanity, and they're proud of it.
Of course they are. Anyway, she said to all the Christians watching the Paris 2024 ceremony who felt insulted by this drag queen parody of the Last Supper, understand that this is not representative of France, but rather a left-wing minority eager to provoke.
And they're mad that they apologize. They're so butthurt that they apologize.
I don't care. Elon Musk, it's too little too late anyway. CEO of Tesla also condemned the performance, calling it extremely disrespectful to Christians.
And he is not a believer, so...
No, he's not. On the other hand, several social media users praised the performance as groundbreaking, particularly since it followed the historic moment of the 3 drag queens carrying Olympic torches for the first
Why
time.
is that a historic moment? Men
I
dressed
couldn't care less.
as women? How is that historic? That's just embarrassing.
Dahl, along with Dardis Minima Heste and Miss Martini, took part in this ritual, and the flame passed through France in May, with each artist stating at the moment represented unity and peace. Isn't that nice? The Olympic drag performance
Unity
took place.
and peace that they're going to shove down our throat whether we want it or not.
Yeah, because peace.
You will have unity.
The Olympic drag performance took place just a day after Kamala Harris, a presidential candidate, became the first sitting vice president to appear on an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race.
They've all been on that, though. I think Nancy Pelosi was on there. I think AOC was on there.
You know, that's the thing, though.
Pander.
I don't care about RuPaul's Drag Race.
I don't either.
It's a TV show. It's that I have no problem with. It's when they start mocking my faith, when they start.
Yeah, and what does that have to do with policy? What does that have to do with...
I don't know what it has to do with the Olympics, that's for sure.
Yeah, so they're saying, they're calling people that modern Nazis triggered by Olympic opening. Now, this one is kind of on our side, but that's what they're saying. We're about to get shamed by 2 people who have no business shaming other people. As we reported earlier, the International Olympic Committee deleted the YouTube video of its own opening ceremony and is issuing DMCA copyright claims against anyone who posts footage, getting them banned from X. We'd love to show you the videos of libs that of TikTok posted, but they've all been taken down. So they're so proud of their unity and the work that they did and their artistic endeavors. They're so proud of it that they have removed it. They have memory hold it. Clown World's account with 2.5 million followers was locked.
I'm one of those followers, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
Clown World is great.
Was locked due to sharing footage of the Paris Olympics. Why did they put it out there if they didn't want people to see it? Sharing short snippets falls within fair use. This is, the Olympics Committee is trying to remove evidence of the disgusting show. So they literally blocked them. Elon, why? Why are you letting them do this? I mean, I couldn't even post a parody, and it said parody at the beginning, and you knew it was a joke, of a Kamala Harris campaign video. Wouldn't even allow me to post the link on Facebook. I expect that on Facebook. I expect that on YouTube. I expect that on Instagram. Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it this week, is supposed to be better. It's supposed to be free speech. And this is what you're doing. Did you get caught in the IOC's attempt to cover up their satanic opening ceremony from X last night? They hit my X account with a DMCA takedown notice, and X locked my account after I used a very short edit in a video. It was censorship, plain and simple, and it violates the law, which is true. So I was actually going to put this together, but here is a... I was hoping this would be bigger. You can kind of see what they were going for there.
It's really crazy. Just crazy.
It's just a little too close to home, right down to the colors.
Yep.
And why is there a child there?
Because
Why
they have to include children
is
in
a
their
child
gay stuff now.
involved?
It's important.
Why is there a child? There is a small child there. And isn't that supposed to be Judas? The child is Judas? Is that what they're going for?
I don't know.
I don't get it. These people are sick. Anyways, it was supposed to be recreation painting of the Feast of the Gods, but if you compare it to, I tried to find some versions of these, the Feast of the Gods, it doesn't pan out. Here's the article about the testicle. So, I mean, you can plainly see it in the bigger picture, which is still proudly displayed on the Twitter feed right here. This is the Olympic Games. You can, you saw it here, folks. Still proudly displayed. There it is. Boop, right there. With that child, the small child there, and Papa Smurf. But they're trying to say, oh, it's not the Last Supper. It had nothing to do with that. When one of their own is upset. France, while proud of its rich Catholic heritage, also has a long tradition of both secularism and basically, France doesn't like religion. Blasphemy is not only legal, but also considered by many as an essential pillar of freedom of speech. Like France has freedom of speech. Try calling somebody the wrong gender. Hugo Barden, whose drag queen character Paloma took part in the tableau, was disappointed that Paris 2024 had felt compelled to apologize. An apology means
recognizing a mistake, recognizing that you deliberately did something to harm, which is not the case.
This is important because remember, they weren't reproducing the painting. But read this next line.
What bothers people isn't that we're reproducing this painting. Excuse me. But what bothers people is that queer people are reproducing it. No, if you were making a mockery of it, I don't care if you're gay. I mean, the fact that you're queers, and I'm saying it because you said it. It's not a term I typically use because it's.
I don't even know what it means. I'll be honest.
Know what it means
It used to mean something, but now it doesn't. Yeah, you know what? That's not an insult. It's just not. What bothers people is that queer people are reproducing it. Yeah. And I don't see that as an insult. The word queer has negative connotations for a reason, Bubby. And embracing that does not make it better. You know, it just... It's not just because you are a degenerate. It's also because you feel it necessary to mock a religion, a persecuted religion. And because you are such cowards. You are such lowly cowards that you will only pick on one religion. I dare you to do this with Islam. I dare you. You don't have the guts. And the thing is, they're like, oh, Christians are so violent, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Have you had your houses burned down? Have you had your children raped and murdered? Have you had acid thrown in your face? No. I want one of your drag queens to do Muhammad. I want you to put together a scene from the Quran. I want you to do this to Islam and see what happens, and then come back and tell us how hateful we are. But you won't. You won't, because you only pick on those that you know will not retaliate because you are cowards. You are cowards, and you are vile, and you know that you'll get away with this. And then you turn around and say that we are hateful. You want that hate. You feed on that hate. You beg for it. And even when we don't give it to you, you'll invent it. Go ahead. We'll be over here turning the other cheek. I want you to do this to Islam, but you won't because you're cowards. You think you're all brave and strong. You think you're so special. You think that you should get special privileges. Well, why? What makes you special? You're just degenerate. You're just queer. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. Do what you're going to do. Just for God's sake, leave children out of it, you freaks. Leave children alone. That's all we're asking. You do whatever you want to do. You wear lipstick and makeup and chop off your genitals, whatever in the heck you want to do. Just leave children alone and leave us alone. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, I think that's enough.
I do too. So
I have one more thing I want to talk about, and I cannot find this anywhere.
okay.
but I do have a screenshot of it, and I'm gonna show it to you, but like I said, it's a screenshot because it was taken down. All right, so this post from Merriam-Webster that apparently has like, they're kitschy and do really edgy posts and whatnot. Remember, Merriam-Webster, I think it was 2016, redefined the word woman. And now it means, you know, a person who, I don't know, what do they call it now? It's completely different. Merriam-Webster, I think it's like a female feeling person, or I mean, something stupid.
I'll
it's
look it up
dumb.
while you're...
Yeah. What is a woman? An adult
Dictionary.
female person. A woman belonging to a particular category as by birth, residence, membership, occupation. A womankind. Distinctly feminine. A woman who is a servant or a personal attendant. A woman who is extremely fond or devoted of something specific. Mistress, girlfriend.
They seem to have removed the vagueness of it.
Yeah, it's still adult female person.
Well,
Anyways, they posted this grammatically incorrect question. What's the word grammar hill you are absolutely dying on? It should be that you're absolutely willing to die on. But apparently we're dying on this hill. And they had to delete the post
and why is that?
because people kept replying that a woman is an adult human female. And the comments are so juicy. Are you sure it wasn't because they should have written hill on which you are absolutely dying to be grammatically correct? They underestimated how many of us still live in reality. No matter how they change the words in the dictionary, chromosomes never change. They asked. I mean, if trans people can support Islamist, a dictionary can sly away from word definitions, I guess. I mean, this got ratioed so hard. Not before they blocked some of us. Imagine, I've been blocked by a dictionary. You can be blocked by a dictionary. But a woman is an adult human female. In 2024, dictionaries get offended by word definitions. Ha! The Trump meme. I wish I had internet sleuth skills. I really like to put a face to actions. I want to know what this guy looks like. I don't even care about his name, honestly. You mean because of bigots? Unbelievable. The long march through the institutions definitely included dictionaries. I love the pushback that allows pushback these days. This is a new era. And it goes on and on and on and on. Yeah. Just thought... Really? Really? That actually just happened. Well, let's head on into my favorite segment, News of the Wonderfuller. Here on CounterCultureWISE, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the Wonderfuller.
A physicist who dropped out of postgraduate school to raise her family 75 years ago was awarded an honorary PhD at the age of 98. This woman earned it. I'll explain. Rosemary Fowler was studying at the University of Bristol in 1948 when she discovered the kaon particle.
What?
But she left academia before earning her doctorate when she married fellow physicist Peter Fowler in 1949. Sir Paul Nurse, the Chancellor of the University of Bristol, said Fowler paved the way for critical discoveries that continue to shape the work of today's physicists and our understanding of the universe. Fowler was 22 when she discovered a particle that decayed into 3 pions. This particle was later dubbed the kaon. Now, pion means a meson that is a combination of up and down quarks and antiquarks that may be positive, negative, or neutral and has a mass about 270 times that of the electron.
Okay, so the quark was smaller than electron, which
Right.
they didn't think existed.
Right. And then meson, because I didn't know what that meant.
Well, those are those cars that are really cheap that hardly anybody owns now.
Yeah, I know. Any of a group. It also means any of a group of fundamental particles. Yeah.
Is it meson
Such
or
as the
meson?
meson,
Meson, okay.
made up of a quark and antiquark that are subject to the strong force
So
and
now
have
we've-
zero
we've-
or
we've
integer
discovered
number of quantum
smaller
units
than
of
a
spin.
quark?
Yeah.
Holy crap! I teach
So
chemistry and I
she
didn't even know this.
she learned she found out about this particle anyway. I
way
knew it,
back in the
yeah, way back in the
what? Nobody's talking about this. Holy moly!
Fowler was 22 and she discovered a part. Well, I've already read that one. I knew it once it was new it would be very important. We were seeing things that hadn't been seen before. That's
Yeah.
what research in particle physics was. It was very exciting, she said. Fowler was made an honorary doctor of science in a private graduation ceremony near her Cambridge
I don't
home.
think she should be honorary. I think she should be full on Jill
Oh,
Biden doctor. Let's do it.
I know.
Well, better than
I'm really pleased for my mother, daughter Mary Fowler said. As a child, I wanted to be a physicist because it seemed to be so exciting. With both parents being physicists, physics and research was a normal topic of conversation across the kitchen
can't
table.
even imagine. I hate physics so much.
My mother, which is why you teach it, my mother remained very connected with the Bristol Physics Department in the university because my father joined the academic staff, as did a number of their student friends, she said. So, wow. All right, well, congratulations, lady.
Wait, pro soccer game suspended when fans bring fish cakes onto the field?
That's not a wonderful story. We'll have to save that for some other
I just
time.
love the world we live in. Florida Sheriff's Office warns against taking selfies with a depressed bear. Folks, next week we have a whole docket of the Florida man, so we'll
Yeah.
probably include
We'll have
that.
a whole
Well,
mess of Florida.
congratulations, Rosemary. You are a pioneer. You
Dr.
are
Fowler.
Dr. Rosemary Fowler. You are a pioneer. Oh my goodness, you discovered things that we don't even talk about yet because we probably don't understand it.
I don't. It's nice to know that some
Well,
people do, though.
I mean, I read the God particle and I knew about quarks.
Right, I knew about quarks.
I did not know that we'd gone further, so that is fascinating. And I have a feeling that it's infinite. I really do. I don't think we're ever going to find the smallest particle. I don't think we're ever going to find it.
No.
I think that the smallness that we can get into is as infinite as the vastness of the universe.
Far out. But it is true. It is true. I'm being a snark, but yeah.
Yeah. And, so there's people out there who believe we're living in a simulation, and then there's those of us who believe we are living in a God-centered, mysterious universe that we'll never fully understand.
And that's the camp I've been falling into.
Yeah.
And speaking of God,
It's funny though, because people who believe I listen to Scott Adams and other folks, and people who believe we live in a simulation, it's like they know it's God, but they just don't want to admit it. And it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch and just be on the outskirts of them coming to the understanding that it's okay. It's okay not to know. It's okay to be in a state of wonder and fascination and joy. And I think that's what happens is when you start looking at how complicated things are, and they use terms like black-pilled, and you get to the point where you just think everything's going to hell and nothing's ever going to change and everything's terrible. And then you look at a kitten, you look at a flower, you see a butterfly go by, you look up at the clouds and watch them go by, you do something good for another person and see their smile, you pet a dog and you
look
realize,
into the eyes of the woman you love.
aw, see, you get a compliment or you give a compliment. You just get up in the morning and are grateful for anything. And like the Bible says, we are to be grateful in all things, not necessarily for all things, because there's a lot of things I am not grateful for. But if you go outside of yourself and you go anywhere at all, even if you're, and I've been here, and I say here because I kind of am here, where you're so depressed that it's hard for you to get out of bed, or you're in so much pain that it's hard for you to function. But you look outside and you see, in my case, cardinals.
She put a
put a
bird bath right up against the window,
and they come and they visit, and they look in the window and they see me.
and they say hello.
And such joy from such a small critter, you know. And I get sparrows, and I get finches.
And
And, you know, that song, you know, his eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. You can't forget that if you are grateful for it. So whether you're a believer or not, whatever you're doing this week, take a moment and look outside of yourself. Just take, you know, we joke about, oh, touch grass. No, do it, for reals. Seriously, just take a moment and get outside of yourself. And there are going to be times in your life where you are trapped and you don't know how you're going to escape. And all of these things are transient. All of these things are
we speak
temporary.
this from firsthand knowledge, by the way.
We're in the middle
Very
of
recent
it.
firsthand knowledge.
We're literally in the middle of it, and there are two ways you can react, and I've reacted both ways. I do suffer from clinical depression. I do have, you know, those issues. And yet, when we sit in our chairs that don't match, and we look outside our dirty window into the backyard that's overgrown because we don't have a lawnmower, and I see a butterfly, just, how can I ever not believe in God? How can I ever spend a moment of my life not rejoicing that even with the pain and the fear and all the worldly things that concern us, that I am so lucky to be part of this world and its beauty and its wonder and the things we'll never know. And I hope that people like this beautiful Rosemary Fowler, inspire you to go outside of yourself and do something different. Like I'm going to do this week. I'm embarking on a new endeavor. Nervous, afraid, all the things. And excited and grateful. So may you go forth in wonder and gratefulness and do something for yourself, do something for someone else, and for goodness sake, do something for a critter. Jim's holding Max right now, doing the belly rubs thing. Folks, it's been wonderful. We will see you next week.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
CounterCultureWISE is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, CounterCultureWISE.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, "Be a guest on our show."
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other. Be kind to animals. and be kind to yourself. See
See
you next
week.
week.